Imagine standing in front of the White House. The building is instantly recognizable. For more than 2 centuries, it has been the home of American presidents, the center of political power, and one of the most famous buildings on Earth. Millions of people have seen it. Millions have photographed it. Millions know its history, or at least they think they do. Because beneath the White House, hidden below the rooms that appear in photographs, speeches, and history books, is a world most people never see. A world built for emergencies. A world built for moments when normal life no longer exists. And for decades, much of it remained a mystery. The story begins during one of the most dangerous periods in modern history, the Second World War. In the early 1940s, the possibility of attacks on important government buildings became a very real concern. Military planners worried about what might happen if Washington, D.C. ever came under direct threat. The White House was not just a home, it was a symbol, and symbols become targets. As the war intensified, officials quietly began developing protected areas beneath the White House complex. Most Americans never noticed. The work happened away from public attention. Construction projects appeared ordinary from the outside, but underground, a different reality was taking shape. Rooms designed to survive emergencies, protected spaces, secure communication facilities, areas intended for situations nobody hoped would ever happen. For years, little information became public. Rumors spread, stories appeared. Some were true, many were not. The deeper people looked into White House history, the more mysterious these underground areas seemed to become. Because unlike the famous rooms above ground, many details remained hidden. And when something remains hidden long enough, curiosity grows. What exactly existed beneath the White House? How large were these facilities? Who had access to them? And perhaps most importantly, had they ever actually been used? The answer would arrive on a morning that changed the world forever. September 11, 2001. At first, it seemed like an ordinary day. Government offices opened. Staff arrived for work. Visitors moved through Washington. Then everything changed as news of the attacks spread across the country. Security agencies immediately began preparing for possibilities nobody wanted to imagine. Inside the White House, officials moved quickly. Procedures that had existed only on paper suddenly became reality. Security teams escorted key personnel away from public areas. Movement throughout the complex accelerated. Decisions were made in seconds. And beneath the White House, one of the most secretive locations in America, suddenly became one of the most important. The Presidential Emergency Operations Center, known simply as the PEOC. For many Americans, it was the first time they had ever heard the name. For others, it raised even more questions. What exactly was the PEOC? How deep was it? What happened inside? Why had it remained so secret for so long? The answers were surprisingly difficult to find. Official information remained limited. Descriptions varied. Many details were never fully released. The result was a mystery unlike most others. Because this wasn't an ancient ruin. It wasn't a forgotten civilization. It wasn't a lost city buried beneath the earth. It was a real place. A place that still existed. A place hidden beneath one of the most famous buildings in the world. And the deeper researchers looked into its history, the more fascinating the story became. The deeper historians investigated the White House, the stranger the story became. From the outside, the building looked ordinary. But beneath it existed a hidden world most Americans would never see. For decades, rumors spread about underground rooms, emergency tunnels, and secret facilities. Some stories were exaggerated. Others turned out to be true. As World War II intensified, government officials became increasingly concerned about the possibility of attacks on Washington. The White House was more than a residence. It was a symbol, and symbols become targets. Quietly, protected areas began appearing beneath the White House complex. Most people never noticed. Construction projects came and went. Workers arrived and left. Life above ground continued normally. But underground, something different was taking shape. A secure world built for emergencies. Years later, another global crisis would make those hidden spaces more important than ever. The Cold War. For decades, the threat of nuclear conflict forced governments to prepare for worst-case scenarios. Across America, bunkers were built. Emergency command centers appeared. Secret facilities expanded. And beneath the White House, preparations continued. Few details became public, That secrecy only increased public curiosity. Everyone knew something existed below the building. Almost nobody knew exactly what. Then came September 11th, 2001. Within minutes of the attacks, emergency procedures were activated. Security teams moved rapidly through the White House. Officials were escorted away from public areas. For one of the first times in modern history, the hidden infrastructure beneath the White House became critically important. The Presidential Emergency Operations Center, known as the PEOC, suddenly moved from rumor to reality. Most Americans had never heard of it before that day. Now the world wanted answers. How large was it? How deep did it go? What happened inside? Only fragments of information emerged. A few eyewitness accounts, a handful of official statements, small pieces of a much larger puzzle. And that puzzle remains incomplete even today. Because beneath one of the most famous buildings on Earth lies a world designed to remain unseen. A world built for moments most people hope never arrive. And as long as parts of that world remain hidden, the mystery of what lies beneath the White House will continue.